Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. We are back for season 2 of our Impossible Landscapes playthrough. Tonight's episode, Momentary Glimpses. Just a quick reminder for any viewers, this is a horror game. We're going to be in Impossible Landscapes specifically is sort of surreal horror, not a whole lot of body or blood and gore and that kind of stuff, but more like weird things happening to your brain type thing. So, is that your cup of tea? Welcome. If it's not quite your cup of tea, well, we tend to not be very serious about what we're doing anyway, so you might still get through it, but just
add a little
warned.
sugar.
Yeah, no shame. If all of a sudden you go, nah, nope, I'm done. No problem. But before you go, like and subscribe, and then try something else later. So we're back for season 2. Before we go into a quick recap of what we did last time, would you two like to just give a quick recap of who your characters are, and what they are like? Tom, you want to start?
Sure. I am playing Agent Gourmet. He is a stickler for procedure. He probably overanalyzes everything. He is really getting frustrated with this current place they're at. It doesn't seem to play by any rules. It doesn't seem to have any kind of structure to it. And these kinds of things really piss him off.
Right. Yeah. If we had a stress tracker, I could definitely see you. Maybe we should be reducing your willpower or something like that. All right, Mouse, tell us about Agent Greavy.
Yeah. Daria is ex-KGB. Very, I would say, very tense. Very paranoid. And very serious and very focused at the same time. Yeah, she's definitely kind of gives off that air, I don't know, of like, she's not easily flustered. She's seen a lot of shit and stuff that she probably shouldn't have seen ever. So it's gonna, yeah, she's not gonna just, lose her cool over a clown. Yeah. But endlessly wandering the hallways of a hotel where she can't seem to find her way out or find the goal or the purpose for which she is there is, I think, probably trying to wear her a little bit, here, trapped here with Gourmet. So.
All right. Oh, hang on. What's this in the private chat? Oh, here I am. Yep. Okay, yeah, and we have a third Agent Gaucher who couldn't join us tonight, but they are here in spirit. Gaucher is the more... how would you describe them? They're very meticulous.
Yeah.
Okay, so quick recap what we did last season. The Scourge got called in to take a look at an apartment where someone went missing. Well, we don't know that they went missing in the apartment of someone who went missing, a missing persons case. And while the FBI was investigating this case, they got brought into it because it had recently pinged one of her credit cards across state lines. So the multiple state thing that calls in the FBI. Someone friendly to Delta Green in the FBI noticed what they thought might be an occult symbol in the apartment. So Delta Green was called in to take over sort of the evidence collection. So our 3 agents plus Agent Grimshaw, who was with us for a short while during the first season, who then got lost in the night floors, had gotten called in to catalog this stuff. Their cover was, you're here to pull all of the evidence together, catalog it, photograph it. Their main goal was, of course, to find out if there was anything hinky going on in the supernatural area. And if so, bring it to, shut it down. Find the problem, burn it all down, like Delta Green always does. When they got to the apartment, they discovered that it had been turned into some sort of weird collage. There was just found items, trash, old documents, stuff from who knows where, just like glued and epoxied and stapled and otherwise affixed to the walls and the ceilings in the main room and in the bedroom. And it was just really weird. They found a bunch of clues, attached to the wall as they were doing their work that led them to believe something strange was going on in the building. Long story short, they discovered that when night falls, the building somehow gets extra floors above the third one. And they have entered those extra floors, known as the night floors, where reality is flexible. They have kind of gotten lost in a series of endless corridors. And toward the end of the last episode, they discovered, or came to the realization that somehow the place can kind of respond to their will, to their wants and needs, but not necessarily directly. They kind of were left with the sense that maybe they were a little too sane for the place to work smoothly. And that's kind of where we left off. They had just had this realization that we might not be crazy enough, but they do have the sense that they need to focus very hard on a particular goal in order to move through the night floors and get to that goal. Previous to this, they kind of had fluctuating goals. Part they were still kind of looking for the missing person, Abigail Wright, and part they were looking for like stairs to get up, to go up to a different floor. So now they're thinking maybe if we all concentrate on just getting back to how we got in, that might be the thing to do. Now, actually, that's a good question. Are you three going to be focusing specifically on getting back to the way to where you came in, or just whatever the closest way out is?
Are we giving up on finding Abigail? Is that no longer going to be our focus?
And that's the, I guess, the second question. What's going to be the deal with that?
I think Gourmet just wants out. This whole thing is just pissing him off very badly. He's just looking for an exit.
Okay. Maybe then at this point, I think Reby would kind of sense that get the team out of here, and so that they can regroup and then figure out maybe a way to come back or be better prepared to come in. Now that we maybe know. Yeah. So, okay. So then we're going to focus entirely on an exit to the.
So with that in mind, you all set off down the corridor. Come to a junction, make a left turn, and the corridor you turn onto has changed. It's a little different than the other ones. Pretty much before, whenever you would make a turn, you would it would just be another corridor, look a lot like this. Long, endless sequences of doors. This one, as you turn, there's doors on your left side, but on the right, there's like, what do you call that? A baluster, I guess it would be what it would be called on a set of stairs. A rail with the little spindles going along it, separating you from a chasm of darkness. It's just completely inky black going down, and like maybe 15 yards away is what looks like a sequence of windows just sort of hanging in the darkness. And as you walk down, you can see that you're looking into rooms of a hotel, probably, maybe an apartment, but most likely rooms in a hotel, because it's just like the bed and a desk like up against like the wall. It looks like maybe it's like a transparent wall or something like that. Just a sequence of these going along. The first couple are empty. And then, there's like one where there's, just a guy sitting, on the bed reading a book. The next room, there's a young couple making love. couple more empty rooms, and then you see the next room. A man comes out of the bathroom, and you recognize Grimshaw.
So let me make sure I understand. So these windows are just kind of sitting in the darkness.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's not enough light in the chasm area to see like
Okay.
any sort of wall.
Okay. But they're just kind of floating there.
Yeah, they appear to be just sort of floating there.
Okay.
It's possible that there is some sort of solid structure, and you just don't have the light to be
Okay.
able
Can
to
I-
see it.
Light a flare and just toss it out there.
Say that again.
Can I light a flare and just toss it out there?
Yeah, if you have a flare on you, go ahead. How hard
Okay.
are you going to throw it?
How
what's your
far
goal?
away? Yeah, I mean, I would try to get to, like, close to the windows as possible. And I'm not trying to chuck it through a window, but just kind of like,
So is your goal to throw it into the gulf and light the gulf, or is your goal to hit the wall on the other side, the window on the other side? You can do either without.
Right.
It's just 15 yards. You could easily hit the
Yeah,
wall.
I mean, I'll hit the wall because then it's probably going to bounce off and fall into the chasm anyway. So
Okay. Yeah. So you throw it, at presumably the window that you see Grimshaw through.
yeah, let's just throw it at Grimshaw.
Yeah. So it hits some invisible barrier, bounces off, and falls down. And you can kind of see as it falls, it sort of lights up just a black, sort of matte finish wall, just like going down, down, down. And as you watch it, it just the light diminishes and it becomes a point, and you can just sit there for a while. It just seems to fall forever until it gets so dim you can't see it anymore. When the thing hits the wall, Grimshaw turns, cocks his head, walks over, grabs what like invisible drapes or something and pulls them aside.
I start
shakes his
waving
head,
my hand,
and then closes the drapes, rifles through the desk a little bit, kind of sighs. He's looking very disheveled, he's had to sleep in his clothes several times. Everything is all rumpled, and he's got like bags under his eyes. Looks like he hasn't been getting a lot of rest. And at some point, he sort of like gives up on the room and heads towards the door and goes out. Hangs a left, and then the next little window is like looking onto a corridor of doors, and he goes off down the corridor. Other than the noise of banging on that little wall, he didn't see you when you waved, or didn't appear to. If this room is anything like the rooms that you have been in before, then it's like that one with the desk with the two curtains on the side that look like fake windows. It looks very much like that sort of room, same basic layout. So he wanders down the hall a little bit, makes a turn into a door, opens it, and goes in, and you don't see him anymore.
I think he's here with us, but who knows what? So he's been maybe in one of these hotel rooms, but we don't know what room, and he's gone into a hallway, but we don't know what hallway.
Well, I mean, we can continue to just focus on getting out of here, and then when we come back, we have to either focus on finding him, or both, but one at a time.
Yeah, he kind of rubs his eyes and is like, we need to get out of here.
All right. So you're focusing on getting back to the smoking room, the smoking lounge?
I mean, are we okay with, now that we've seen Grimshaw, are we okay with leaving him here? Should we try to get to him?
We could end up trapped in here.
Yeah.
The mission is for us to get back and report what we've seen.
No, your mission is to figure out what's going on and stop it. The report is ancillary.
Potato, potato.
Yeah. A nice, strongly worded report will be wonderful.
Right.
Exactly.
So the
'Cause that's
question
order.
really is that do we have a better chance of doing that in here or out of here?
If only we had another player for a tiebreaker.
I mean, do we know enough? Do we know enough about? Yeah, do we know enough yet to try to undo this, or do we need to get out and do some more?
Yeah, based on the way Minty was playing Gaucher last time, I'm pretty sure they would agree. Let's get the hell out.
Yeah, because I think we're just going to be stuck here. But
All right.
I mean, but trying to backtrack, who knows? I mean, we've made so many turns, and I think we were trying to mark the floor or something like that.
We just need to focus on finding an exit.
Yeah, at this point, the map that Gaucher was drawing on his hand is just like a bunch of squiggles.
If we all, do we all want to just focus on the lounge because that's a visual. Like, instead of saying we're focusing on an exit, which could be very different from each of us in the way we see it in our heads. Like, would it be better? I think maybe that we're all envisioning exactly the same thing, the same lounge, the same door to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
So if we click our heels together, say, "There's no place like the lounge." There's no place like the lounge.
If you must.
He's actually making a joke.
Yeah, I know.
No, I know.
It's just hard to tell.
She knows.
She's probably not used to him making jokes, though. So that's what I meant more like.
They've been more frequent, though, since you've entered the ninth floor.
Yeah, because it's messing with him.
Oh, we've got to break that stress. All right, so who's going to take the lead and go first?
Me.
You? Okay. Make me a sanity check.
That always starts well.
As you stride forward with the desire of finding this room. Okay.
Success.
All right. And a very, very low success at that.
Yeah, that's...
So...
She's got a mission now. She's on it.
You pass down the rest of this little weird corridor looking out onto a chasm. There are a few more corridors that that are also sort of weird like this, almost like you've entered an unfinished area of whatever this building is, but not like unfinished in the sense of the construction hasn't been finished and there's empty walls, but almost like unfinished in that it's not a complete thought. Completely conceptualized. It's very incongruous. But a couple of hallways later, you get back into something that's a bit more normal. The doors are spaced a little bit further along. Both of you give me a luck roll. Let's see who.
A luck roll.
Okay. 2 failures, but Mouse, yours is a lower failure. So we'll go with that one. Along this hallway, there are more bits of art. So most of the things you've been walking, the halls you've been walking through recently have been just doors with numbers and very plain walls with just some paper. This hallway has like art on the wall. And you come upon a segment of the wall that has like an array of 8 photographs on the wall. Black and white photos, look like they're from the like around 1930 or so. There's like the old sort of clothing. Hang on a second.
Is there a picture of a guy at a New Year's party?
A picture of what?
I got a New Year's party. It's another Shining reference. So.
Okay, I'm going to show this to you, the players, and then I'm going to pop it out and do a quick share. So you notice these photographs are not terribly large, like 6x9 maybe. There we go. All right, I've started sharing, and you guys should be also seeing the image now. So and each one is a picture of someone standing there, just like blank face, just kind of like staring at this camera, trying not to move, holding a bottle. And each bottle is a little bit different. So it's not like it's all a bottle of Jack Daniels. It varies from like a liquor bottle to like a small perfume bottle to just, a small decorative bottle to like a weird clay thing. Every single bottle is a little bit different. And in some ways you get the sense that each bottle is tailored to the person holding it. You don't know why that occurs to you, but you definitely get the strong sense that each bottle belongs to the person that's holding it in some fundamental way. So you've got A. Darabandi, E. Lisette, J. Lenz. There's a whole list there. And when you get to the 8th picture, it's just a picture of a bottle sitting on the floor, and the name underneath the photograph is D. Grigorievna.
Oh, that's creepy.
It is creepy. And if you weren't already adapted to helplessness, you would have to make a sanity roll at this point. But you have a sense of overwhelming helplessness, but you shrug it off. Yeah. And would you describe the bottle that is in your picture?
Oh, it has to be a bottle of vodka. Stolichnaya, probably.
Okay. An empty Stoli bottle. Nice. Anything you want to do with the with this knowledge or with the artifacts themselves?
So it's a the little list you have away.
Was that completely broke up? I didn't hear what you said.
The list that you had up went away.
Okay. I did show it to everybody, so it should be in your journal, probably at the top of the journal.
Oh, okay.
The bottle photos names.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at StreamYard instead of looking at Roll20.
Right. Yeah. There's no point in.
So there's a frame, and it's.
Yeah, it's just a framed photograph of a bottle sitting on a bare wooden floor. All the other photos have someone holding a bottle.
Like it's waiting for me.
Like it's waiting for you. That's a good assessment. I need to make a note.
Like the photo is waiting for me to fill it.
Yeah. Do you want the photo, or are you just going to leave it there?
Oh, I could take it?
I mean, it's just a photo stuck on the wall. If you want to, you can.
Oh. All right. Okay, yeah. You know what? I'm going to take it. I'm going to drop it on the floor, and I'm going to smash it with my foot.
Okay. You do that, and when you touch it and drop it to the floor, just as you are smashing it down, you hear a whisper. It's a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. And there's a sort of humor in the whisper. You're not quite sure you hear it. It's like right on the edge of hearing, almost drowned out by the sound of breaking glass.
It's a fearful thing to be afraid.
To fall into the hands of the living God.
Hands. God. What the hell does that mean?
And Gourmet, you're watching Greeby, look at these pictures on the wall, and then all of a sudden grab one off, throw it on the floor, and stomp on it for no apparent reason.
Greeby,
And
are you all right?
Specifically said the living God, not a living God, right?
Right? The living God.
Yeah, no, I'm fine. Didn't like that photo.
He'll start looking at the photos a little more. Like,
do I recognize any of these names? Darabandi sounds familiar.
While you're thinking about that, Mouse, make me a sanity check to see if this whisper, and this is versus unnatural. Oh, okay. So only -1.
Oh, okay.
So sorry to interrupt you. You were saying?
no, he was just looking at the photos, and she was starting to say, "Do the names, I think, mean anything to her?"
Darabandi sounds familiar, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if any of the names remember them from anything.
What are your intelligences? Reasonably mediocre. Give me an intelligence check
Okay.
with +20.
Okay.
Oh, how do we do that?
Shift click on
Oh,
the thing you want to do, and it'll give you,
With the modifier. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Thank you for the reminder of that.
Yep.
Success. Ho!
Okay, yeah. So A. Darabandi, you will recall, and Asa Darabandi was the architect who built the McAllister building. You did a little bit of research on him, found some books and stuff. They're still at the library because you didn't check them out or something, I think. But you did find several books on the McAllister building and on him. So that's pretty fresh in your mind.
What bottle is he holding?
Oh, what does his bottle look like? It looks like a small, clear medicine bottle, like something you would have had aspirin in. And as far as the other names, I've done forgotten what they were. Or I can look over here.
Familiar.
With that critical success, the only other one that kind of rings the bell is Jay Lentz, because you found that suitcase with the initials JCL, so it's like a stretch, but there's a J and an L, first letter J and a last letter L, and that kind of maybe, but the others, you don't think you've heard them ever before. You're welcome to take the photos if you want, or take photos of. Oh no, you don't have phones with you. It's 95. Welcome to write things down. You guys have established that you have pens and paper, because last episode we did something where you wrote something down.
Because he's wondering about the they're all 1930s garb, but these people's names, were they more recent than that, or were they that we know of, or were they?
Well, at least for Asa Darabandi, the time frame fits because the building was created back in the 20s.
The other ones we don't know.
The others, since you don't know what they might refer to, it's impossible to say. Just judging from the pictures, though, it looks like these are all contemporaries of each other.
Okay.
Within like a decade, because early 20th century fashionista.
He's
except for me.
He's going to try to write down the names, and basically the same, 1930s garb, holding a bottle, looking very grim-faced.
Yep.
So
taking some good notes.
Just take a couple minutes to just just write that down.
And you're welcome to make a history check if you want to try to pin down the period even more. But just as a casual glance, you're like, yeah, early, like near Depression era.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, so
Surprising. You would not have a lot of knowledge of.
No, history only has a 13 in it. How about a cult?
Wouldn't be terribly useful, although maybe you might gain some insight into like why everybody's holding a bottle. So I'd say, yeah, make an occult roll at -20.
Oh, that's going to leave me at a 10. So I'd be better off rolling history at a 13. So.
No.
All right, not going to bother then. So.
Yeah, all these failures is going to give you XP. So yeah, yeah. I mean, occult. You rack your brains. It's like you can't think of any sort of like weird cults or
it's
sects or religions or anything that have anything to do with bottles.
Okay, that's fine. Really, when Greeby's ready to move, he is.
All right.
Anything notable? I mean, like the rest of the bottles that they're holding. Anything there that would maybe give away? Just like not just in terms of the types of bottles that they're holding.
Yeah.
No.
Other than than your certainty that each bottle is individually suited to the person holding it in some fundamental way. You just have a sense of that. But you can't quite put your finger on what is it about like Darabandi's clear bottle that maybe has a little bit of clear liquid in it. It's hard to tell because it's only a 6x9 photo of somebody holding a bottle. What is it about that says to you that is fundamental to his being? You're not sure. It's just a sense that you're getting from the photograph. And the more you focus on that, the more you sort of are like drawn into the pictures themselves and almost feel like like you're falling into it. Give me another sanity check, Greedy. Another -1. As you kind of like catch yourself against the wall and almost like you almost bonk your head against the photo as it's sort of like drawing you in, and this you sort of shake
just
it
reach
off
out and like grab her arm to like try to steady her when you see
you're just like something. What is it? Why are these bottles telling me that they belong to these people? What is that?
I don't know if it means anything.
And it may just be your nuts. Yeah.
Let's just keep moving.
All right. So which of you is going to take the lead this time? Sounds like maybe Gourmet is pulling you away and saying,
I think so. Yeah. I think Gourmet is kind of.
All right, you give me a sanity check then.
Oh, wonderful! I shouldn't have volunteered.
Okay. So you're like, enough of this crap. Grab Greavy, move along. Get to the end of the hallway. There's like a left, right, forward kind of thing. And you're like, we're going to the right. You turn it right, turn down the hallway, and things start to look a little bit familiar again. You see a corridor that looks, you're going down there and it ends at a little seating area, and there's a left turn. And you realize, I think that's the seating area where like the dude disappeared. And you take a left turn, and sure enough, this hallway only goes down like about 50 feet, and there's a door at the end of it. Okay. As you are walking forward towards what is quite obviously the door to the smoking room, you can kind of see like the same sort of scratches and stuff that were on it. You're like, this is that door. With certainty that is the right door. One of the doors in the corridor opens up, and a shadow falls across the hall, and you hear the sound of clockwork whirring, and little wheels rolling on the floor. And out of the doorway comes a little rolling clockwork automaton of like a small child. Seems to be dressed like a little girl. and it turns and wheels its way toward you as the door slowly closes. It's headed your way. You can hear sort of like along the whirring of the clockwork gears, a little music box possibly inside, making a little bit of music as it rolls slowly towards you. And it kind of you're sort of blocking the hallway, so it sort of like stops in front of you, and then just kind of like a little mouse droid, and it's just like, like its mouth kind of clacks open and close, like it's waiting for you to get out of the way so we can pass. You notice on its back is a card, like a gift card, kind of a little card in an envelope, just sort of sitting in a little spring-loaded grippy thing on its back as it's trying to back up, go forward, kind of like tries to get around you. Are you going to let it pass, or are you going to keep standing in its way and making it?
I'll let it pass, but I'm going to try to snatch the note off its back as it goes.
Okay, yeah, it's not moving very quickly, so you can grab the note, and it just sort of keeps going, doesn't even notice. The front of the note is addressed to Ian Frederick de Craig, prisoner 125101.
Ian. Sorry, say that again.
Ian Frederick de Craig.
Frederick de Craig.
Gourmet is just kind of watching the robot as it just kind of continue on its way.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it goes down to the end of the corridor and hangs a right, heads back basically the way you came.
Okay. He's going to then go over to the door with the scratches, which we think is the way to the smoking room, and open that door.
Yep, you open it up and you opens it into the smoking room. Everything seems to be pretty much the way you left it. What's his name? Mark Rourke, you met there is gone. He left along with Greeby earlier. The book that he was reading is sort of like sitting on the arm of the chair, and his whiskey is sitting there. The ice cubes have melted, and his cigar he took with him, so that's gone. Greeby, but everything else seems to be about the same.
Read the note in here.
All right. What was the prisoner number? I didn't quite catch it.
Prisoner number 125101. And I'll share a handout with you in a moment that'll have that information, okay, so you don't have to worry about writing it down.
You want to read it now, or you want to read it after we get out of here?
Let's read it in here.
All right.
All right. So you open it up. I'm going to go ahead and show this to you. And I will.
So she'll read it aloud.
Out and share the screen so the audience can see.
Would you please read to the class?
It looks like an invitation. At the palace, a masquerade to celebrate the new king. Come to dine, come to dance, come.
Yep. Join us at the palace. A masquerade to celebrate the new king. Come to dine, come to dance, come. And that's all it says. It's blank on the back. There's nothing else in the envelope. You're not sure who this Ian Frederick de Craig is that would be receiving this invitation, but now he's not going to get it. You have it. What are you going to do with it? And what are you going to do now that you're back in the smoking room? I'll remind you, there's a humidor and a wet bar and lots of comfy chairs and books in case you feel like you need a break.
He's really concerned though about getting out. He's still we're still on the night floors. Yeah. So he really wants to get back to the real world.
Morning.
Yeah. So he might grab that book that was sitting there.
Okay.
Can we just scan the titles of the books real quick?
Yeah.
None of them have any titles on their bindings or on the covers.
Oh.
So they're almost like prop books, like on a stage.
Well, we can each just grab a handful and then, just see if we get lucky.
Yeah, if you want. And look at them later, I assume, not right now.
And you said there was a cigar still sitting there?
No, he took the cigar with him, but his glass of whiskey is still sitting there. There's a little paper napkin underneath it that looks like something's drawn on it, like a little sketch of some sort.
That's what I was wondering. He's gonna pick up that napkin,
Okay.
and actually thinking about grabbing the whiskey glass too, because it looks like somebody's been drinking out of it.
Yeah, it's the glass that he was drinking out of when you
Okay.
guys were talking to him. The ice is melted, so it's diluted, but he left a good 2 fingers of whiskey.
What he's thinking is there might be DNA on this.
Forensics.
Yeah, we might be able to figure who this is. So yeah, he's going to take the glass, the book, and the napkin.
Okay. So you grab all that stuff.
Maybe he's just gonna grab like a chunk of books off the shelf. She's gonna dump some of them in Gaucher's hand and arms, and then
Yeah, he's our mount.
and she's gonna grab it harmful, and then
Sorry,
just,
Minty.
maybe we get lucky. I don't know.
Snag a bottle of Stoli on the way out.
It's probably been poisoned.
Yeah, you make it to the door. You open it up, and there's the little flight of stairs. It's only like 10 steps down into the corridor. There's the chairs that you left. You walk out into the down the steps toward the stairs, and if you happen to glance at your watch, you'll see it's only a few minutes after you went into the smoking room in the first place.
Yeah.
But we definitely felt like we were in there for longer.
Yeah.
You were in there for hours. I mean, it felt like maybe a day.
Yeah.
Wandering around.
Is it possible a whole day has gone by since? He's like checking his watch.
Yeah,
like literally.
Like
What
you're in
date
there a
is.
whole 24 hours, more like 6.
Okay, no, but he's just being that paranoid. Like, what day is it?
But yeah, that's a good paranoid question. You're gonna grab the chairs and go back to Wright's apartment to look at your finds. You're gonna look at stuff you just snagged right
I don't
there.
know how much more Gaucher can carry. So
Yeah, let's go down to her apartment. And
let's just get out of the apartment. Leave the chairs here. And,
Yeah, sure. Bill.
chairs.
The chairs you were sitting in watching the door.
Yeah.
Remember
They
that?
were-
You guys all sat there for like half an hour, 45 minutes, just watching.
Waiting to see if something would appear. Or...
See if somebody was gonna come and go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
forgot
Ghost
about
went
that.
down to talk to Van Fitz, and you could kind of like hear him having an argument downstairs, and then he came back and he was all pissed off. And okay, yeah. Let's you take a look at the napkin first, because that's easy when you pull it off the bottom of the. I'm going to share that with you and share screen for the peoples. And there's a picture of this weird contraption. And like on the back of the napkin, it says Liao, L-E-A with a tilde over it, O. Yeah, actually, no, it's not on the back. It's like right there in blue, very small.
What is that?
Right there. Well, you can't see that because it's. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see that. It's like right there. It says L-E-A with a tilde over it, O, all caps.
And he's just looking at it, turning it on its side. I mean, it's like a schematic or something.
Yeah, it seems to be a schematic for some weird ass.
Is it a trebuchet?
Could be. There's no sense of scale on it. There's no numbers and stuff. You're not sure what the hell it is.
God.
Greaves.
And this GBR on there.
Yeah, looks like the monogram of some person or possibly place.
I would think like a bar or something.
Yeah, it's a cocktail napkin.
Yeah.
Hard to...
I mean, this isn't something somebody just quickly scribbled. I mean, unless they're really good.
Yeah. Well, this could also be a case of the the people who made the game put in a picture that was a little bit more better drawn than it really was.
That's
put
true.
Too much stock in that, but yeah, it is fairly well drawn. Even for for something that's like a scribble on a napkin that just got like snagged off the bar and used for a quick whiskey.
Here's what I'm thinking offhand.
Yeah. So I assume you're going to like bag that and add it to the collection.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wants to take
Taking a look at the so that was like easy. It's like get this off of the glass
Let's take a
while
look
I'm
at the
walking.
glass, like kind
So
of
you've
under
got-
light. Do I see any like lip marks on it or anything like that? Or maybe,
There are a few bits of like tobacco floating in it
okay.
from where we would smoke and take a drink.
Okay.
But there's nothing,
Okay.
there's no marks or anything on it specifically. You might still be able to get like a swab off the rim, and
Yeah, I don't know if that's something I might have, or if we got to take it to a lab.
there wasn't anything like that in the kit that they provided you for collecting the evidence because it wasn't expected to be needed. But you could certainly, requisition something like that, or figure it out. Make something work.
Because I would have contacts in the marshals that if I wanted to get a possibly a DNA test done, or I guess, or my
Yeah. So you could run to the CVS on the corner, grab some Q-tips and some Ziploc bags, and put together. Minty's saying,
yeah.
"You didn't send a message about it." Okay. Yep. So they may or may not join us depending on how things go.
No problem.
So you can make something work for it. It won't be like the best cleanliness, but it'll probably be better than some crime scene type stuff. It's not your forte because as a marshal, you're chasing down.
That's
tend
not
to
his
do
thing.
detective work per se.
Yeah.
But as a you have a little bit of detective-y stuff, detective skills.
Yeah.
Green.
Because I'm almost wondering if it's better to just take the glass to a contact to see if they can just lift it for me rather than me bungle it. So
Right, you probably only get one shot.
yeah, I'd rather try to keep it intact. And
so then just put the whole glass. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Probably carefully pour out the contents, and then
there's not likely there's gonna. I mean, even if some skin cells from his cheeks got in there, the alcohol probably denatured the DNA, and so just pour that out and save the bag, sure, or save the glass. That works.
Okay.
Yeah, put that in something safe. So you have the glass, you have a napkin, you grab a handful of books and a bottle of vodka, and your chairs, and you went back downstairs. You want to look. Who's going to look at the books first? You gotta.
Oh, me. I'll start flipping through the books.
Yeah, while he's taking care of the glass. Okay, so you start flipping through the first book, and you realize it's just a bunch of porn. It looks like old black and white porn photographs.
Okay.
So you toss that down, you grab another one, same thing. As you're flipping through it, you notice it's like weird fetish porn. It's not like straight up stuff. You've got lots of pictures of almost like what it would have been called geeks or circus freaks, back in the day. That sort of weird fetishized
Okay, yeah.
hardcore kind of stuff. You're flipping through it, and in one of the pictures, oh, dang it! I never wrote that down. What's your sister's name? Yelena?
Yelena.
Say that again.
Yelena.
Yelena, yeah. So you flip it over there, and there's Yelena, clear as day.
What the fuck?
Give me
She goes
insanity.
real still. She goes real still.
Mm-hmm. And this is for a D4 if you fail, and a 1 if you succeed. Oh, a fumble. What happens when you fumble on a sanity check in Delta Green?
That seems fair.
I gotta look that up. I don't even know.
That seems like a very appropriate dice roll for this moment.
Right?
I know Call of Cthulhu, I think it's like max sanity loss or something. But I don't know if Delta Green.
Fumbling a sanity roll means your agent loses the most possible sand, so you lose 4.
Max, yeah.
And if the loss for failing the roll would have been a d20, he or she loses 20 points. Okay, so that seems tame for this. All right, so you're losing the full 4 sanity.
Okay.
But you're also stunned for a few moments, like you.
Yep. She's processing in her head. And then I think she slams the book shut.
You cut out. You think she what?
I think she slams the book shut.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, wait. I think she rips the page out. And then slams the book shut.
Okay. So, Gourmet, you just got startled as she you hear a ripping page and then a book slam while you're putting your glass in, carefully into a Ziploc bag.
She stuffs the photo into her jacket.
Do I see her
And
do it?
then
Or I only hear the noise, right?
Yeah, because you're in the kitchen.
Right.
Because you had to go pour the stuff out.
Yeah.
She's just in the next room, so but it's clearly a book slamming shut.
Greeby, are you okay?
go. I'll check in tomorrow. And she just walks out.
Okay. And looks over at Gaucher. I guess we're done for the night.
Guess we're done for that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to leave the book that he got. He's going to wait and check that tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. You set those down next to the pile of boxes of material. All the nice labeled boxes that are with the date and what evidence boxes. All good stuff. Set that there, and then you're done for the day.
Yeah, I guess he's probably. What time again is it?
It's 9:30.
Yeah, it's not a super urgent request that he's gonna owe somebody later. So what he'll do is in the morning, call about getting a sample done from the glass.
Yep.
So.
All right. Then you guys have made it out of the night floors, and the next thing you need to do is figure out what's going to be the next steps. And I'd like to have Minty here for that to try to figure things out. And the way things just ended, it seems like a perfect place to stop. One thing we do need to do, though, is for Greavy. You remember whenever you took that third failure of helplessness without going insane, and you're now what they call adapted to helplessness?
Mm-hmm.
That has the benefit of you never have to make another sanity check versus helplessness, but it has the detriment of reducing your power by 1d6. And while there was no effect inside the night floors, after leaving, you've kind of felt like the events that you experienced in the, kind of in the back of your head are coming forth again like a tide, and you're re-experiencing stuff. So go ahead and roll 1d6 and subtract that from your power. This will have the effect of reducing your willpower points and your sanity.
And the fact that my power is a 75.
No, your power is 15.
Or 15.
Yep.
That doesn't matter, right? That it's not she's not extra. -2.
That's what gives you, strong will. So -2. So your power is now 13. So go ahead and change that to 13. Okay. That changes your willpower points, and it should also change your maximum sanity points, which at this point doesn't really matter. I think it changed it.
It auto-updated. Well, I saw it auto-update the ×5, but I wasn't watching the rest of the sheet.
Yeah, it updated the willpower too. Your current willpower is still listed as 15, but your maximum is 13, so that's obvious.
So should I bring the current?
You haven't really been using willpower because the things that you've been involved with haven't really been willpower heavy. There are a few things in the game where it's you can do this, or you can spend a willpower to not do this kind of thing, but we haven't run across any of those yet. Usually the willpower in this game is used for when you have to push through adversity, like exhaustion. memories, that kind of stuff. So
we need to do something else. So her personal under motivations and mental disorders, she has things man was not meant to know. She also has paranoia, and paranoia means if she loses 2 or more sanity in a single roll, it triggers an acute episode. Unless you're able to find a way to stop her paranoia, he or she can't trust or rely on anyone. Every event, every disagreement, or source of suspicion is a clue to.
yeah, so all of that comes crashing back onto you pretty much in the minutes that you've come back into the real world.
Okay.
While you're on the night floors, it was sort of niggling in the back of your mind, but you were so focused on getting out and the weirdness of the place, and there was sort of a soporific, nature to it. Same thing with Gourmet. Any sort of problems that you have, you don't really have much in the way of disorders or anything listed on your sheet, but like any like little tics or anxieties that you tend to go on about, that has just like all of a sudden come back and you're going through it in your mind. For Greedy, it's going to be worse, especially after what you just saw in that book.
Well, that's what triggered the. Yeah, that was what. That was when I. Yeah. Because that's what triggered the.
Yep, and Gaucher is going to have a similar issue with because he reached his breaking point back in the last session. And I see that Henrik has reached his breaking point as well. Oh no, he hasn't. That's 53.
So there is no Henrik. There's only Gourmet. So.
Yeah. You're okay. So we'll have to deal with that whenever Minty's back, because all that's coming crashing back on him, and he's going to develop a disorder, or they're going to develop a disorder.
And my sister, I was going to have her be in New York where I could keep an eye on her, but we decided instead to put for some reason you wanted me to put her in Chicago, right?
She can be in New York now, but we had talked about outside. I asked her if it was okay if she at least at some point moves to Chicago for whatever reason. But yeah, if you want her in New York now, that's fine.
It just I would just say if she is in Chicago where I can't directly keep an eye on her, then I would think that she would have somebody that she paid to keep it. Like
what now?
She would have somebody that she paid to keep an eye on her.
Mm-hmm. Oh, some sort of PI or something.
Yeah. So I'm fine either way.
Up to you. However you want to deal with it. If you want her here now, so you can go and spy on her, or if you need to fly to Chicago all of a sudden, I guess we can deal with that too. But
I would like, because that's what she would do. I mean, like, if she's in Chicago, then her next step, like literally as she's leaving the building, she would be dialing the PI to get eyes on her sister. And if she can't get a hold of the PI can't, it would be on a plane. Like, so
you pay him an extra retainer to be on call so that you can always call him and check on her.
Okay. All right. Then that's what she's doing. That she's as soon as
you live in a van, you can't afford an apartment because you're paying this PI so much.
Yeah, there you go. Also, it's in New York City, but
right. Yeah, even in the 90s.
Yeah. So so yeah, that's like it's just like pinging the PI over and over and over again.
He's like, "Yep, how's it going? Last time I saw Elena, she was doing fine. That was about 3 hours ago when she got some groceries and headed back to the apartment."
I need you to get eyes on her right now.
Okay, we'll do. We'll call you back whenever I'm at her house. Give me about 15 minutes, or her apartment.
All right. Thank you.
So yeah, about 15 minutes later, he'll call you and says, "All right, I'm crouched on a damn fire escape across from the one window I can see in. She's sitting in a couch. Looks like she's watching TV, eating popcorn."
Can you go knock on her door and just, I don't know.
You want me to ding and dash?
Yeah, I want you to pretend like you're delivering a pizza to the wrong place. something like that.
All right, that's going to take some time.
I don't
I
care.
gotta
I,
get
I need you to. I need you to actually talk to her. And make sure she's.
All right, I'll call you back after it's done.
All right.
So,
I'll send you an extra fee.
yeah. Well, of course, yeah. I'm just going to put this on your expenses. No big deal.
And you get to eat the pizza.
About 45 minutes later, because he's got to go to the pizza place and order a pizza, get a pizza, go back to the thing, calls you back and says, "Yep, she took the pizza, agreed to go ahead and pay for it, even though I brought it to the wrong place." Apparently, very gullible sister you have there. She seemed fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's dead now. Yeah. So, are we good now? Can I go back to bed?
Can you just step up the surveillance until you hear from me? Otherwise, I'll pay extra.
Sure. I'll invoice you. I'm pretty light on cases right now, so I can basically double up. Yeah. Check on her 8 times a day.
Okay. Yeah, and just every time you check on her, can you just message me and let me know
Sure.
she's okay?
I will leave. You must have an answering service that you pay for, since you don't have a answering machine in your van.
Right.
Although I guess it's 95, so there is voicemail on phones. So whichever you prefer, he'll either do an answering service or your voicemail.
I would, probably email. I guess
Email,
is what she would.
Yeah.
Would probably be what she would access to.
Yeah, you've got a fast account that no one can trace.
Come on, it's AOL. Nobody can hack into that.
Yeah. So Greeby left, obviously freaked out. Gourmet and Gaucher, I guess, walked back to. I guess Gaucher lives in town, so they got on the tram and.
Gourmet's going back to his hotel.
Any thing else you want to do for the night?
Things that could lead to something bad. He's going to check his messages from home. Or he's going to, from the hotel, see if he can check his messages, like on his, on his answering machine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
Let's see what.
Yeah. You guys may remember back in the 90s, you could call your own answering machine and put in a special code and get your messages.
Yep.
It was the shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. So this is a good place to stop for the night. Sorry for the short game, everyone, but this is a good thing. When we reconvene, we will have the 3, hopefully all 3, making plans about what's going to be the next step. How are they going to solve this problem of weird portals into pocket dimensions or whatever is going on?
I'm going to burn that photo, by the way.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you, Q.
Yep. Nope. You're welcome. Thank you, guys. Is there anything? Let's see. Oh, Vampire tomorrow, right?
Yes. Yeah. Tomorrow night is the season finale of River City Runs Red, right here at 8:00, folks. And Mondays we're playing the One Ring. So lots going on here for the next couple weeks. So we have lots planned for the fall. That we're kind of planning now. We'll announce some of that stuff later. But thanks again for everybody watching. And I suppose we will see you all next week then.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Good night.